I'm the person who has seen this show before.
I'm a person who's never watched an anime.
HiroBabble, we are HiroBabble. HiroBabble, we are HiroBabble. Hey, hello and welcome back to the HiroBabble podcast. I'm your host, Michael.
And I'm Spencer.
And, we've been really spoiling you guys these past couple weeks with double epic. But today we're just going to do a bit of a single episode. We watched episodes 19 and 20, and we thought about doing another double epic. However, upon discussion internally here at the HiroBabble headquarters, we kind of came to the resolution that episode 20 and 19 are both deserving of their own episodes. Otherwise, we find ourselves in a scenario where we're going to just be talking for almost 3 hours because we have a lot to say. That being said, though, we feel really good about kind of splitting these up and going back to the single episode format, a little bit of a throwback. So I guess let's just kind of... Do you have any additional thoughts?
No,
comments,
I mean,
questions, concerns?
I watched 20 and I immediately called Fernie and was just like, dude, I can't even wrap my brain around what the hell is happening right now.
Yeah.
I need time to process this, and I think it's deserving of its own episode.
Totally.
So here we are, back to the single.
The
single life.
Well,
times are changing.
Yeah, so I mean, let's kind of just jump into it. So episode 19 is titled Introjection, and really picks up right where 18 left off, except this time Shinji he's about ready to risk it all.
He really is. So, I mean, when we last left him, he was inside the Eva 1 just screaming as he has... Some truths were revealed to him about Toji being inside the previous angel.
Yeah.
That, were not clear to him until after he had, probably thought that he had killed whoever was inside that unit for a long time. He did find out at the end of the episode that there were life signs, but that doesn't fix the fact that he was inside a unit as it attempted to kill, another living being, which goes against everything Shinji has wanted to do.
Yeah. I mean, he was able to kind of, I think, make peace with piloting the Eva,
right?
Knowing that he would just be killing angels, and
he had just barely made peace with that.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't easy.
No,
but we were finally where he's really been kind of clicking in the angel, or excuse me, in the Evangelion lately, and we've seen his test scores have gone up, and his teamwork's gone up, and his effectiveness has gone up, and this wrinkle really affected him big time.
Yeah.
And so this episode, like you said, starts with the ramifications immediately of what the hell just happened.
Yeah. Shinji's basically inside Nerve, and he's refusing to get out of the Eva unit.
Yeah.
And he's kind of just going someone give me an answer. Why? Why did we do that? That wasn't okay. And you have all of these command center people going, hey, dude, we legit either did that, or you would have died, we all would have died, and countless other people would have died. And he goes, I don't care. He's like, that doesn't change the fact that I almost killed Toji. And Gendo goes, get out of the Eva, Shinji, you little baby.
And the fact that he was being ordered to kill, not necessarily specifically Toji, but to kill the angel.
Whoever the pilot was.
Right.
Yeah. And then to have that choice wrenched away from him via the dummy plug, really solidifies, I think, his stance of, I don't care what the justification was, that isn't okay at all.
Which I got the impression watching it that he didn't know about the dummy plug.
No, I don't think anybody did.
When they flipped that switch and that dummy plug took over, it was news to him that was possible.
Yep. And then, in addition, already kind of just, on top of the other, it's Shinji doesn't want to kill the angel because there's a pilot in there. He wants to protect human life. That choice is wrenched away from him via the dummy plug. he's then forced to watch as Eva 1 tears into and kills he thinks kills the pilot by just crushing the entry plug.
Yeah.
And then he's just kind of expected to be cool with it, only to then find out that he almost killed his one of his like only friends.
Yeah.
So that compounding on top of another, I think, leads to a justified frustration on his behalf, because he's kind of coming from the angle of, I could have killed one of my best friends, and no one here is seeming to understand that. Which is also interesting. A lot of the command center people are very quick to write it off as, hey man, we could have died too. Countless other people could have, died. You could have died. Think of all the lives you saved. When in reality, at the end of episode 18, they were looking like in horror at, oh my God, what is the Eva? What have we made?
Yeah.
So it just feels really weird for them to somehow quantify, hey, well, you saved us, you saved yourself, you saved everyone else, and Toji's fine, like he lived.
Right.
It just feels like
you almost wonder if, in between, off camera, that, maybe Gendo gave them not a pep talk, but kind of he like underwrote everything. All the horrors they were seeing, we needed to do that.
Yeah, that's valuable data for the dummy plug or some,
And I mean, it's tough because, like, they're not wrong. Like, had the Angel dispatched Shinji's unit, who knows what would have happened, right? And, I mean, maybe it would have killed all of them in all of Japan. I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're not wrong, but in that moment, all that matters to Shinji is that they tried to kill Toji.
Yeah. And that's his like tunnel vision, but it's a justifiable one.
Yeah.
So pretty much,
it's kind of a standoff.
Yeah, they're all like, dude, just come out of the Eva, like it's gonna be okay. And he goes, I've still got 2 minutes in the battery. I could level nerve if I wanted to.
Right.
And then Gendo's like, I've got no time for childish games. Increase the LCL levels, and basically knocks Shinji out. When he comes to, though.
Yeah, it raised the pressure to the point that he couldn't move.
Yeah.
I was trying to understand what they did to the liquid that made it like that, but I think that they just
increased, I think, the density of it.
Yeah.
So pretty much from there, what ends up happening is, Shinji gets knocked out, he's in the hospital, but then we cut to Toji, and Toji's kind of coming to after the events of episode 18. And he's kind of like, is that Shinji next to me? Like, he doesn't have really any grasp on what has happened.
Yeah.
He just knows that his Eva got shit on, and he's in the hospital. And then he sees Shinji. He falls asleep, only to then wake up, and he's sitting in a train car with Rei and Shinji in the other car. And he goes, is that Ayanami?
Yeah, that sequence was weird. And what I think is interesting about it is the audience, like, we've seen that sequence before with maybe some different script of Rei and
Shinji
talking across from each other in that just, like, sunset train. And it comes back, I think, either later in this episode or in the next one, but that becomes kind of a theme that they go back to, which I'm still a little bit in the woods on as far as what all of that means, which I'm sure will be revealed, but
yeah,
that was a kind of an odd sequence.
I think it's kind of a glimpse into Shinji's head, and I think he may be like talking to Rei, but I think Rei in that instance is another perspective in his psyche.
Yeah, I agree.
Because Rei is essentially in this car conversation going, why don't you, why do you hate your father? And Shinji goes, because he doesn't understand me. And like, I almost killed my friend because of him. And then Rei goes, well, have you ever tried to understand him? And Shinji goes, no, there's nothing to understand. Like, he sucks. Like, I just hate him. And then Rei goes, well, why can't you try to understand him? You're running away from reality because it's uncomfortable. And then Shinji kind of puts his hands over his ears and he goes, what's wrong with running away from reality when it sucks?
Right.
And I think that kind of sets the ball rolling on, I think, where it ends up leading into in episode 20. But just in general, I think Shinji's state of mind is like, if I don't have to see it, I don't have to deal with it. And I think that is now starting to compound in a very big way.
Yeah.
In how he's navigating things.
Well, there's this like plot point that Shinji runs away from everything.
Yeah.
And so they're like once again reinforcing that, and like he doesn't want to hear that. He wants just like answers.
Yeah.
And, you know.
Well, and it's as if he's tired of people making excuses for why he is the way he is.
Right.
Rather than just being forthright with him about why they're doing things, why they feel that way. But then again, though, I think he can't process the fact that Gendo is being forthright. Like he is saying, you know, I don't care about your friend. The end objective is killing an angel.
He doesn't really care about. Gendo is such an interesting character. Like, you know, I think back to when Rei was in huge danger in that last mission, and they knew like her arm was about to get cut off, and the crew asked if they wanted him to, if they could shut off the like whatever nerve
the nerve connection,
and he was like, no time.
Yeah, do it.
You know, and like most people would have tried, and maybe failed, but he doesn't try. He's just like, all that matters is that we kill this fucker. Who cares about her?
Yeah, well, he's really cold and calculating, and for someone like Shinji, who has a lot of empathy, and I think asks those bigger questions of, why am I doing this? Who am I doing this for?
Yeah.
What is, you know, how is this going to, you know, impact me? They can't align because they view the world through two very different lenses.
Yeah.
But in addition, though, Shinji doesn't even really want to hear what the reasoning is because to him it's wrong.
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess the thing that I'm still confused about is the train sequence in general. Mm-hmm. Like, how... Since we've already seen this kind of in Shinji's mind, at least, or maybe in Rei's, like, weird trip vision, what does Toji being included in that mean? And I guess maybe I'll find out the answer to that question, but like for now, I'm a little bit confused as to how he is seeing that. Like if in some way they're all connected, but I've never seen Asuka in that vision, so.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was kind of what I was gonna plant as a potential seed, is that them being, or like Toji kind of being a third, you know, bird's eye view or third person view into that conversation, I think shows that there's something going on with maybe like the LCL fluid, or, you know, them being like the children and whatnot, you know, could be linked. But
no, I'd buy that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I love those sequences. I mean, they're beautifully animated. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just an immediate contrast to what is like the normal world. This like beautiful orange kind of train with like really deep thoughts happening. It's just such a break from the normal action.
Totally.
And I almost get the feeling that like Toji, he probably remembers getting in the Evangelion. And I don't know that he remembers, like, the battle or much of that. Like, I'd be interested to know from his point of view what he saw during that. And maybe as soon as that angel took over, he doesn't remember anything.
I feel like that's likely.
I think so, too.
What happens. Because he, you know, if he knew Shinji was the one that beat the shit out of him, well, it wasn't Shinji, the dummy plug, I feel like he'd remember that.
He'd have to punch him in the face again.
And it all comes full circle, baby. But I will say, it was nice after they exit that like train car scene, the class rep that has a crush on him came to visit him. And this just speaks to Toji's heart of gold. He's like, hey, is this the... Because he asks himself the question when he wakes up, is this the hospital my sister's in?
Yeah.
Then he asks the class rep, can you let her know that I'm okay? I'm not, like, in grave danger.
Right.
Because he just doesn't want his sister, who's already got her own shit to worry about her brother.
Yeah. He asks about his sister, and he also asks where Shinji's at. And like you said, it says a lot about his character that when he wakes up in the hospital, he doesn't think, oh, wow, this is a new ceiling or whatever. He thinks, like, oh, like, where's my friend and where's my sister?
Yeah.
And let them know that I'm fine. And yeah.
Well, and then he goes, "Oh, sorry, I never got to eat your lunch."
I love that.
And she goes, "It's okay."
I love that he remembered that she was going to bring him lunch.
Yeah.
Because the episode doesn't make it clear before that whether he's really into her at all.
Yeah.
But, like, it's obvious that she really wants to make him the lunch. So it was nice. It was a nice touch to see that he at least remembered and acknowledged that she was going to make him lunch.
Yeah. Well, so then, it cuts to, where Shinji went. He's standing in front of his dad in that weird trippy office. Yeah. He's in, like, 19 pairs of handcuffs as a 14-year-old.
Yeah. They do a sound effect of one
closing, but it's
and then he's in, like, quadruple cuffs.
Yeah. And basically he's like, I'm not going to pilot Ava 1. I hate you, Dad. And he's like, I hate you too.
Pretty much. I actually wrote down, this isn't exact quotes, but it's like paraphrased quotes. Yeah. So Gendo pretty much says like, you've done this, and this, and that are all criminal offenses.
Yeah.
And do you have anything to say for yourself? And Shinji's like, I don't want to pilot the Ava anymore. And his dad's like, okay, then get out.
Yeah.
And then Shinji has this line where he says, all right, I'll go back to where you left me. In the Netflix version, or it's probably the similar in yours.
Yeah.
Dude, I had subtitles on this one, and the subtitles are your version.
Really?
Yeah, so I found out I can do that, so I'm going to start doing that now.
Damn, that's dope.
Yeah. And then, the dad's like, so you're running away again? I'm disappointed in you. I doubt I'll ever see you again.
And then, doesn't Shinji make a comment where he's like,
he says, yeah, I hope so.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting because he has this, like, demeanor.
He does.
Where he is, like, he's very sure.
He's a changed man.
Yeah. Well, and it gets backed up, too. So, Shinji's back at the train station again. A parallel, if you will, with episode 4.
Yeah.
I
thought the same thing when I watched it.
He's getting ready to fly the coop. Masato comes to try and talk to him, like, kind of in the same olive branch way she did in episode 4, but this time
try to get him
to come back. But Shinji's like, no, I'm done. Like I'm done piloting it. I'm done with Nerve. I'm done doing what everyone else like asks me to do. I'm going. Like I'm done. And Misato's like, well, there's going to be a lot of like regulations placed on you, right? And he goes, I don't care. Like I don't want to be anywhere. I want to be anywhere but here.
Yeah, I don't want to be involved in this bullshittery at all.
And so Misato goes back to her car and she's like, that's the first time I've ever seen Shinji like so serious.
Yeah, she I also quoted that. She says they comment on how Asuka didn't show up to say goodbye.
Yeah, and Shinji goes, yeah.
I don't care.
He's like, that sounds about right.
I thought that was awesome. Masato says she thinks to herself, he was speaking so assertively. He's never done that before.
Yeah.
And I had kind of like a fist pump, like, yeah,
I was Shinji. Like, you tell her, boy. And it's cool that like even she noticed that because she's like, okay, well, fuck. Hey, if this is what it's gonna take for him to be so sure of himself, so be it.
Well, she says some stuff that I think is. Like, I think she's a little hurt that he's leaving because she's been under his wing. She says some stuff that upsets Shinji where she's basically saying, well, we all kind of put our eggs in you, like, and I know that, like, there's other pilots, but, like, I really rested my career on you.
Yeah.
And so you're really
she does
fucking
guilt trip him a little bit.
In the Netflix version, Shinji says, that's pretty selfish of you to say. And she's like, yeah, it is. But I don't care.
But I'm being honest. Like, you are... a lot of people are depending on you. And he's like, damn, that's crazy.
Yeah.
When's the train coming?
Right. There's a couple little things, like tiny scenes that happen before this. There's one where Kensuke calls him, or tries to call him. And he's basically like, dude, I heard that like you're leaving. And like, that really sucks.
Yeah, because he's like, a lot of people are depending on you.
Right.
And like, now even Toji's a pilot.
I know.
Oh, brother.
Like, basically, I used to have 2 friends, and now I'm going to have none.
Yeah, he's like, one of them's in the hospital, and you're leaving.
And then the Nerve cuts the line.
Yeah. And then he tries to call back, and it's like, due to privacy concerns, we have terminated this call. Thank you for your understanding.
Bullshit. And then the other scene I was going to mention is right after the initial standoff, there's a scene like maybe outside of the hospital room, or I'm not sure where it is, but it's Asuka and Rei. And you know, I'm not trying to nitpick every scene, but this episode's kind of full of gems.
It is, yeah.
And Asuka's like, or Rei's like, what's he doing or whatever? And Asuka's like, I think he's probably just in there dreaming. And Rei's like, Dreaming. She's like, yeah, you know, like when you sleep and you dream. And she's like,
and then Asuka goes, don't tell me you've never dreamed before.
You're just rubbing it in. And Rei's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
I have no will of my own.
Right. She kind of like spaces off in the distance like, dream. What is this?
Was any of this for real?
Like...
Or was this a dream?
Oh!
It just becomes a Kingdom Hearts crossover episode.
But leaving in the Dragon Ball Z crossover from last episode.
Yes.
It's just 3 combined.
Anyways, those are really good call-outs. I apologize for glossing over those.
No, I mean, I just... this episode is just so heavy.
Yeah.
Because a lot is coming to an end.
Yeah.
And you get to see, like... Okay, the other 2 pilots, well, okay, they're worried about Shinji, or, you know, they're at least... Well, one of them maybe is.
One of them is worried. The other one... The other one is kind of beginning, I think, her descent.
Yeah, I know. I'm not sure when... I'm not sure...
Because someone's got an inferiority complex going off the rails right now.
Right. Is that in this episode or 20 that she has her, like...
Well, so... For context, after Masato and Shinji talk, an angel shows up.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right.
And
okay.
so Shinji...
So it's the next one. You're right.
Well, but Shinji basically, like, steps up, or he has to be evacuated to a shelter, and this is the first time we get to see from, like, a true civilian perspective what those shelters look like, and kind of what that procedure is. So Masato gets back to Nerve, and Unit 1 and Unit 0 and Unit 2 are dispatched to try and fight it. However, a few notable things happen. Rei tries to pilot Unit 1, which is interesting because she's had success in the past, but it doesn't work. It, rejects her. They try and put the dummy plug in, and Ava 1 completely rejects the dummy plug. And what's really interesting is, after the dummy plug gets rejected, Gendo has a line where he goes, is it rejecting me? Which is a little crumb that they follow up on at the end of the episode, but pretty much he's like, you know, is it rejecting me? Which then it all comes down to Asuka. So Misato goes, Asuka, you know, we're depending on you. And as Ava 2 is kind of shot up to go confront the angel, she's saying like, yeah, now there's no more Wonder Boy here to take my lightning. Or like, you know, to take all the praise this time. I'm gonna settle this. And, dude, it looks so badass. She has just an arsenal of weapons scattered around her. And the angel starts making its way towards her, and so she, you know, starts blasting. It doesn't work. She pulls, with like an assault rifle, she pulls out 2 dual-wielding assault rifles.
She's like Chief in Halo 2.
Yeah, she's like, fuck, nothing. Then she pulls out the dual bazookas, shoots those, nothing works. And then the angel retaliates and cuts both of her arms off.
Yeah, clean.
And knowing what happened last episode, when that happened to Rei, my immediate thought was like, oh, fuck.
that has gotta hurt.
Oh, she's not walking away from this one without a bit of a scratch. And she like, just crumbles. And which leaves the angel wide open to just fucking beat the shit out of Ava 2. Yeah. And what ends up happening is her helmet flies long and far away, and where does it end up? Right in the shelter that Shinji is.
I was trying to remember, but it's like right where Shinji's shelter is.
Yeah. Well, and so Shinji sees Ava 2's head in front of him, and he's like, "Oh my god."
I know. I love that everybody in the shelter, like before this too, was like, come on, you're gonna die.
Yeah, get in here. And
get
then he's just kind of standing there, and he's like looking at Ava 2's helmet, and they're like, dude, do you have a death wish? Come on, get in. And he's like, oh my god. And then who else, you know, would be there but our main man.
Watering his watermelons.
Kaji. I will say, before I get ahead of myself, Asuka makes a comment after her arms get cut off. Or I think it's like as she's fighting, but she goes, I can't fail again. Not again.
Right.
And she really leans into that as she's frantically pulling out every weapon in her arsenal, all in an attempt to save, like, everyone.
Right.
And to this point, the last time she's had a successful encounter with an angel was... I mean, like...
Maybe the twins, until that failed?
Yeah, well, I mean, no, her and Shinji killed the twins, you're right.
She got
then,
a clean cut, and then it became twins.
Yes, well, but she fought the magma diver, won, but Shinji still had to save her. But I also give her that win.
Sure.
Ever since then, though, it's only been Shinji who's been able to seal the deal on quite literally any other angel that's come their way.
That's true.
Asuka kind of gets aced. And the one other time where she did help was when Shinji, Rei, and Asuka all did that team attack.
The team battle on the giant eye that was spitting
acid
down a tunnel.
But that, I think, is a very solid moniker, and they elaborate that more in episode 20. Just that idea of I can't fail. Why is nothing working? Why can't I get it right? So then it cuts to, Shinji and Kaji. Kaji's out watering his melons, and and Shinji goes, Kaji, what are you doing? And he goes, although I'd rather be between Misato's melons, this is
that
where...
what he says in here?
Yeah, he's like, well, I'd rather be between Misato's melons. This is where I'd prefer to die.
See, that's well written. And mine, he just straight up says, well, I'd rather be resting my head on Misato's bosom.
Oh.
I'm like, the melon thing works.
Yeah, Kaji wouldn't say bosom.
No.
What is he, a 19th century, aristocrat?
No, he's...
Ma'am, nice bosoms. Oh. Yeah. I thought that I got a real hearty laugh when he goes, well, I'd rather be between Misato's melons. This is where I'd rather be to die. And Shinji goes, die? And he goes, can't you see?
He's just so casual.
He's like, shit is falling apart. And he goes, and now that my other job has been found out by others, I'm no longer on combat duty.
I know.
And...
which must have happened off screen, right?
Yeah. I think it happened in the background. But it's just interesting because you're watching everyone panic in the background. Kaji's just watering his melons. Shinji is kind of processing the fact that death is on the table. And he's really kind of grappling with die. And Kaji goes, yep. That looks like it's what's about to happen. And then Rei fucking pops up out of the chute and is holding an N2 mine.
Yeah.
But... fuck, dude. I'm getting ahead of myself.
You're on the right track. There's a little bit more dialogue.
There is. Well, and it happens in the control center. Because they're kind of assessing, what do we do? Ava Unit 2 is down. Gendo keeps instructing them to reinsert the dummy plug, try and get it to work.
Try again.
And Ritsuko goes, the only way we can defeat an angel is with power equal to that of an angel, which is that of the Avas. And it's kind of in that moment where Misato is like, say that again?
Yeah.
Power equal to the angels, huh? Interesting. And Ritsuko goes, yep. Yeah, because the Avas can kill them, And she's like, yeah, interesting, bitch. I love you, but I hate you.
Yeah.
And from there... Continue. My apologies. I wanted to articulate those comments.
There's just a couple little pieces of dialogue that's dropped. One of them is Kaji mentioning that, because at least in my dub, he mentions, if that angel was to get down below Nerve headquarters to Adam, we'd have a third impact.
Yeah.
Just casual conversation, and I couldn't help but think Shinji has no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah.
And you're just going to drop that on... I mean, given it could be the end of the world here.
Yeah.
So who gives a shit? And, his employer doesn't care because they're not his employer anymore.
Yeah.
But, like, that was a good nugget for me.
Yeah.
As the audience.
Well, but it's nice, too, because Shinji then starts to go, like, wait, what? And he doesn't even have time to process, because that's when Rei is essentially, after failing to pilot Eva 1, is put in Eva Unit 0.
Yep.
And Ritsuko makes a comment where she goes, you could die. And, and Rei makes a comment where she's like, I'll be born again.
Yeah, she says, even if I die, I can be replaced.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
And so she pops up and she's holding an N2 mine like a fucking football.
Yep.
And just bum rushes. And Shinji is watching in despair and he's like, no.
Which, by the way, that Rei line absolutely, for the millionth time, confirms my clone theory.
Your theory.
The mom side of it, I'm now, I think we've sort of come to the idea that the mom is sort of more so the spirit of this Evangelion.
Yeah.
That Shinji's in.
We'll see, I guess. Who knows, dude?
You're giving me some confusing looks.
Who knows?
We did have that weird kind of like trip sequence with Shinji and his mom's like spirit living in the Evangelion, and so that's where I've sort of, what I'm saying is to all my theory fans, we've got to give up on the mom thing, guys.
We do.
We've got to give up on the Rei is his mom thing. I think maybe not. You know what? No, we're doubling down. We're doubling down on it, folks.
You heard it here first, folks. We're doubling down.
Shinji has two moms, and they're both Rei. Anyways, I don't know. The dialogue there just once again confirmed my...
Yeah.
Rei is
a clone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and so what ends up happening, Rei is holding the N2 mine like a football. She runs at the angel, tries to plow it through its AT field, but is unable to, and the mine goes off. And, you just watch Unit 0 kind of get blown back big time.
Yeah, I don't really understand what happens there. So Rei is trying to shove it through the AT field.
Yeah.
And basically breach it and let it explode.
Yeah, basically to where it would hurt the angel.
But does it work?
No, she is trying to...
It looks like she's almost through.
Almost through, but then it just goes off.
Like on her.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So that happens, and it cuts then to the conversation between Kaji and Shinji, just as this mushroom cloud pops up in the distance.
Yeah. And
Shinji is just kind of on the brink of losing it.
Yeah.
And then Kaji goes into this really insightful monologue almost at Shinji, kind of saying a lot of things revolving around, choice, your own, the power of your own agency to make decisions. How at the end of the day, you are in control. And I quoted his specific, one of his lines. He says a lot of stuff, but he goes, think for yourself and make that decision by yourself. Think about what you have to do now. Think about no longer having any regrets. Mm-hmm. And I think he's able to kind of cut through to Shinji, because Shinji, before he makes a decision, he weighs every possible outcome, and because he doesn't want to make the wrong choice.
Yeah, the last Kaji's been a slime ball.
Yeah,
forever. But the last few episodes, he's really shown that. Yeah, while he may be a slime ball on the side, he actually has kind of this heart of gold in that he doesn't judge people.
Yeah.
He's very open to everything. And so he has sort of been able to align himself with Shinji, where he's understanding of what Shinji's going through. But he sort of words it in a way where he's like, hey, buddy, this choice is yours.
Yeah.
And I don't really care what you do either way, but just my 2 cents, just think about, whether you'd regret it if you didn't.
Yeah.
And go from there.
Yeah, he's kind of the first person that imposes the wanted decision on Shinji.
He's not telling him to do anything or asking him to do anything.
Yeah.
He's saying, this is all you, dude.
Whereas Masato, prior to that train picking up Shinji and taking him out of there, was everyone has put all of their trust in you. Everyone depends on you.
Yeah.
All of this, and meanwhile you have Kaji, who's kind of on the flip side, going, hey man, I won't judge you either way.
Yeah.
But I think if you're gonna make a decision, you should make it for you and you alone. You know,
right.
Do I want you to do it? Maybe, but that's not my call to make, which I think is really, really powerful and is what ends up like kind of snapping Shinji out of it.
Yeah, it was like, I guess what I was getting at is it's just the perfect thing to say. Like, it's the right thing to say at the right time.
Yeah.
100%. Like, anybody else would have just fucked everything up for Shinji.
And who else to say it, though, than Kaji? Like,
right.
Kaji
really
is...
turned around.
He's one of my favorite characters.
I know. You said that when we first met him, and I was like, I hate this guy.
Yeah. But he grows on you.
Yeah, he does.
Well, and so what ends up, following this kind of pep talk from Kaji, Shinji just books it at a dead sprint to get into the Nerve headquarters and back to Eva 1.
Runs all the way back to Nerve.
And he has this amazing scene. He gets in there and he goes, "Let me pilot Eva 1." And Gendo goes, "What? What are you doing here?" And he goes, "I'm here to pilot Eva 1." And Gendo goes, why would I let you do that? And Shinji in my dub, he goes, "I'm the pilot of Eva Unit 1, Shinji Ikari." And like it's the first time he has proclaimed and like took full ownership of that. Initially, he was like, "Well, you know what? I'm going to pilot Eva 1 to save people. I'm going to pilot Eva 1 to make my dad proud. I'm going to pilot Eva 1 so I can avenge Masato's dead dad. I'm going to pilot Eva 1 for everybody else's reasons." But this is the first time he makes the declaration, "I'm the pilot. Like, I'm Shinji Ikari, and I'm Eva 1's pilot, and I'm here to fuck some shit up." And perfect timing, by the way, that he has this revelation, because the angel bursts through, like, the third tier of, like, steel door into the chamber where Eva 1 is. Shinji gets thrown into it, and what follows is quite possibly just the most bitchin' action sequence where Shinji in the cockpit of Eva 1 is just giving this angel the work.
Yeah,
dude.
he is.
He's throwing some, like, haymakers. He's hitting him with, like, rapid jabs. He's, like, punching it in the gut. And then, another great parallel scene, he shoves the angel into the elevator and he goes, "Misato!" And she goes, "On it! Elevator 5!" And it launches them up. And this music, there's this track that starts playing in the background, and it happens right when Kaji and Shinji first start talking. And it slowly starts ramping up more and more. And I'm not going to say it's the same, like, triumphant music that happens during all the other elevator scenes.
Yeah.
But you contrast the first time Shinji shot up in an elevator to go fight an angel, and he just got waxed.
Yeah.
This time, he is in full control, and he's choosing, like, the elevator's like a nice, I feel like, symbol, kind of being thrust upwards into something you're not prepared for. But in this case, he knows what he's getting into. He gets to the top, and then he just starts, like, pulling the eye out of the, or like the red sphere, because that's what they have to break to kill the angel. He starts weaseling it out, and it looks like he almost snaps it out.
Yeah.
But then, oh no. Oh no.
Oh no.
You want to tell him what happens?
No power.
No power. The batteries die.
And why did the battery die, Fernie?
They didn't plug it in before they went to bed
Well,
last night.
they died because Shinji spent so long bitching in the unit and not getting out at the beginning of the episode.
Yeah, that's right. It's all Shinji's fault.
And they were like, and he's like, "I still got 2 minutes left."
Oh, I never put that together.
He fucked himself.
Holy shit. Well, he may have fucked himself, but Ava 1's about to unfuck him. So pretty much, he's hunched over this angel, and the angel's like, whoa, look who took a nap, bitch.
Yeah.
And shoots, like, his razor arm into Shinji's, like
aluminum foil arm.
Yeah, like, shoots him into Shinji and starts just kind of beating the shit out of him. Shinji is just yelling and pleading, like, "Please work. Like, come on.
Wake up.
You've got me out of a jam before. I need you to step up and do it again.
Yeah.
Please." And sure enough, Ava 1, like, wakes up. But this time it's very different. In all of the other instances, we see Ava 1 kind of go crazy. but it's after like Shinji is passed out.
Right.
This time, Shinji's fully awake, and when Ava 1 like goes berserk, it kind of is as if it's like waking up. In all the other instances, it like fights the angel, and then it's done. But this one, it's kind of like looking around.
Right.
It's like taking in its surroundings, and then it sees the angel and just fucking beats the shit out of it.
Yeah.
Oh my god. And it's an amazing scene because you're just watching Ava 1 on top of this angel just and then starts eating it.
I know. Well, they're like, the command is like, he's reached like 4,000,000% sync rate.
The exact number, 400%.
Yeah.
400% sync rate. Which,
I added it for dramatic effect.
It's over 4 million! You know, something like that.
Yeah.
Well, and so Ava 1 is just... It's having breakfast,
animal,
lunch,
dude.
and dinner, dude.
It's an absolute animal.
Well, and then they go, it's eating the S2 engine. And the S2 engine in the last episode, or episode 17, is what caused the entire base in the United States to disappear.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Ava 1 just scarfed it down.
They're like, can he do that?
Is that... And they're like...
I don't know.
And like, Ritsuko is kind of freaking out. She's like, this doesn't look good.
Yeah, she has a line in my version where she says, she's awake.
Yeah. Yeah. I wrote, Ava 1 really said, fuck it, sicko mode.
Yeah.
Yeah. So similar.
Hey, the little like arm regrowth thing that it does.
Yes.
What did it grab that regrew that? Was that part of the
grabbed
dead
a
angel?
piece of the angel and stuck it in its arm and regrew.
Like a human-looking arm. That's savage.
Well, and then initially, before it wakes up and goes berserk, you see this chest plate right on the inside, and Masato goes, what's that? And that's right before it starts to go crazy.
Yeah.
So then, following the eating of the angel, like Ava 1 has completely dominated the battle. It like kind of calms and looks around, and there's this great scene where it's like a super far like wide shot, and you just see Ava 1 look and just two white eyes, and it's like a silhouette, and then it just shows like the blood dripping from the mouth.
Yeah.
And then it kind of stands in place and starts to freak out. And you watch the armor break off, and they're like, what? Oh no, it's breaking the armor. And Ritsuko goes, those plates weren't just for armor. They were restraints.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, what?
Yeah, wait, what have we been doing? What did we sign up for?
Okay, hang on here. And then it cuts to Ava 1 just yelling into the sky. Episode ends.
Yeah. Dude, it's pretty baller.
It is I cannot state enough how dope that scene is when Shinji is in the pilot seat, just giving that angel the business. It said, what she order? 18 fish fillets, and he is just... But then to see the Ava, outside of every other instance where it's like taken on a life of its own, really lean into that.
No, they did a good job. Like they somehow made the shot look more like alive.
Yeah.
Like they did little subtle touches to the eyes that you could tell it's different than what we've seen before. It's like a different breed, right?
Absolutely.
There's a couple cool lines. Ritsuko at one point says, "Humanity has lost control of Ava 1."
Yeah.
And I like got chills. I'm like, fuck, dude. These guys don't know what the hell they're doing.
Yeah. They're playing a dangerous game, and it is now catching up with them.
And then there's like a little scene, kind of like the end of episode 2 in Star Wars, where Yoda has his like, begun the Clone War has.
Oh, yeah.
Where Gendo and Kozo, the right-hand man, where Kozo's like, I forget what Kozo says, but Gendo's pretty much like, it's beginning now.
Yeah.
Like, Kozo's pretty much, I forget what he says, but it's on the lines of like, so is this like still working within the scrolls, and like, is this happening here? And Gendo's like, oh, it's just getting started.
It's going swimmingly.
Oh yeah, no, we knew this was gonna happen.
Yeah. And that's what's always so funny. Gendo's like, no, I literally saw this. Like, I saw this coming.
Right. It's in the scrolls. Have you read the scrolls?
Okay, you obviously have not read the scrolls.
Right.
I have.
Oh, you won't let me see the scrolls.
Yeah, well, tough shit, bitch.
Yeah.
Only me and Cell can see them.
Yes.
Or Sele.
I know.
Singular?
I swear it has been called Cell.
It's been, I think it's Sele.
And they straight up said Sele in this one. It's the first time I ever noticed what they had been calling it.
Yeah, and you were just like, what?
But I made all those Cell jokes.
I think they still work. But,
oh man, dude,
yeah,
good episode.
This episode is great and truly sets up next episode, which is quite. It's funny because episode 2 or episode 20, sorry, is titled "Weaving a Story Part 2." Episode 14 was the clip episode called "Weaving a Story." And I just want to let you know, if you are apprehensive about Weaving a Story Part 2 because you think it's another clip episode. The beginning kind of tricks you because it replays like the end of episode 19.
Yeah, it does.
For like 4 minutes. And then it's completely new. But let me tell you, episode 20 is a banger. But before we talk about anything further regarding episode 20, because we aren't covering it this time, it's a single episode. What are you going to give episode 19 out of 10 mechs?
Oh, man. I wrote 8.5 out of 10, but I feel like the hype is real after talking about this.
Yeah,
and
dude.
I feel like it deserves like a 9.5.
You want to know what I'm going to give it?
Yes, I do.
9.5.
9.5. I think that I'm going to switch to that. It's the first time I've switched, but I really feel like once we really dove into the importance, there's a couple little details that I found out from us talking about this.
Yeah.
That, like, you know, really shaped this episode nicer than it was when I watched it originally.
Absolutely.
I think that so much of this stuff in my first watch maybe goes a little bit over my head.
Yeah.
That when we kind of talk about it, I now realize like, oh, that was brilliant.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm gonna go with you. We're gonna go 9.5.
Dual 9.5s on this because in truth, I think this episode is great. The action is unreal. I think it sets the bar really high going into episode 20, and then episode 20 just fucking slam dunks it.
Oh yeah, this has a ton of great lore stuff too. I mean, a lot of big plot details about Shinji finding out about like Adam.
Yeah.
Like a lot of character stuff happens in
Kaji just being an absolute bro. I think Kaji really steps up to the plate.
Kaji steps up big time. Shinji steps up big time.
Yeah.
As just a
but he steps up in a way like every time he's on screen, he is like he's commanding his fate.
Yeah, he like has confidence for once.
Yeah.
The crazy thing is the confidence he had was in his decision to leave Nerve. And then he came back.
Yeah, but then he had the confidence in piloting Ava 1. And I think that's just some dope shit.
Yeah, no, it really is.
When he, like, kind of bows his head and he yells, like, I am the pilot of Ava Unit 1. I am Shinji Ikari. Yeah. Just fucking chills. But dude, amazing episode. And, we talked last episode about a little something. Do you want to remind the viewers at home?
Depression.
Yes. If you or a loved one are suffering from mental ailments, partially joking, partially serious, therapy's a great tool. And if you find yourself really struggling with those thoughts, seek some professional help if you have it available.
Definitely serious.
Yeah.
On that topic.
Definitely serious.
we
let in with a joke, but initially I wanted Spencer to mention the
haiku.
Not to be confused with the hit volleyball manga and anime from Shonen Jump, Haiku.
Yeah, not to be confused with that one I'm familiar with.
Yeah, we're here to talk about the classic poetry style haiku.
Okay, so, last episode we promised you guys that we would bring haikus.
Yes.
So I've made a couple general haikus.
Yeah. For
the show up till now.
That's great.
And then Fernie's going to hit us with the episode 19 specific haiku.
Yeah, see, I misunderstood, even though I was sitting right next to Spencer when he said it, and I listened to the episode again. I thought we were just coming up with haikus to summarize the episode, so that's all I did.
Which is what I think we're going to do.
Yeah.
I like that idea. Well, here we go.
Yeah, so go ahead.
I have two of them here, back to back.
Back to back. So remember, for those at home, it's 575.
Yeah, so...
For syllables.
So don't analyze these.
Yeah.
Japan. in danger.
That's fine.
Ava 1's pilot is here.
Yep.
Shinji Ikari.
Ooh, that's really good. I like it.
Thank you. And this one's a little bit dark. I think you're gonna really like this.
Okay.
One. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
If heavens above, what lies beneath Tokyo? Undisclosed secrets.
Damn. That's really good.
Yeah, I really like that
You
one.
could put those as like taglines for the show, and I think it would hit the nail right on the head.
Hell yeah.
So my haiku,
Specific to this
episode, as like a summary. Shinji Ikari, the batteries have gone out. Ava 1 Berserk.
I love it.
Thank you.
I mean, it's so tough to dispel this episode into
A haiku.
575.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But
where do we
overall,
start? I think you nailed it.
Yeah, if you guys want to come up with your own haikus,
Yeah, hell yeah.
please leave them in the comment section below. We would love to hear some of the creative, poetry of our viewers.
Yeah.
I think that would be really special.
I also want to start a Facebook poll of single episode versus double episode.
Yeah.
Because now that we finally have done a really solid mix of both, and I want to see if people like the more like hour and a half format with 2 episodes, or they'd rather have like a 45 to an hour single episode conversation.
Totally.
So
we'll drop also a poll on the YouTube community tab.
yeah.
So if you're an audio listener only, check us out on either one of those channels. We really would love to hear the preferred format.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
Because truthfully, we love both. Like I really enjoy double episodes. I like single episodes too.
Yeah.
But I think we could really stand to benefit from, just kind of hearing what you guys think.
Definitely.
But yeah, until then though, thanks for tuning in.
Yeah.
Leave your haikus down in the comment section below.
Banger next week.
Yeah, banger next week. Until next time though, I'm Michael.
And I'm Spencer.
And this is HiroBabble.